Hey everybody, this is Nick Clare with Electric Bike Action. Today we're here introducing Yeti's first EMTB. It comes in at 50 pounds and it's been in the works now for about a handful of years. So before we take a look at the specs and all the performance stuff, let's take a look at a bike that Mountain Bike Action actually had a hand in helping design 32 years ago. It's crazy to think that 32 years ago, this was Yeti's top of the line bike. And it's also amazing to think that Mountain Bike Action actually had a hand in helping design this bike. This is one of the first bikes with elevated chainstays, but that's enough of the past. Let's get back to why we're actually here today. Okay, so the 160E starts off with a carbon fiber frame, and if there was an elephant in the room, it would have to be Yeti's new patented 6-bar link rear suspension system they're calling Sixfinity. This system uses a dual directional switch link that is similar to the Switch Infinity system of their non-e-bikes. They also integrate an adjustable leverage rate at the bottom of the shock with 3 different positions to choose from, ranging from a more supportive stage to a balanced stage, and then finally what they call a plush and poppy stage. Alright, moving on to the drive unit, Yeti settled on the new Shimano EP8 motor, and they've stashed the 630 watt-hour battery neatly into the down tube. EP8 motor has an exceptionally natural feel. By that I mean it's really sensitive to cadence, torque, and speed, which aligns well with Shimano's long list of smooth components. As for the 630 watt battery, we really feel it's a fair size, not too big and not too small. It should be enough to ease your range anxiety and keep you focused on having fun. One thing we would like to see from Shimano is maybe 5 power modes instead of 3. We think it would help with efficiency and dynamics on the trail. For components, our test bike starts out rolling on 29-inch DT Swiss EX1700 wheels, treaded up with a 2.5 Maxxis Assegai up front and a 2.4 Maxxis Minion DHR in the rear. They've gone with 160mm XTR cranks with a 34-tooth chainring that drives the 1051 XT cassette. For the derailleur, they went with the Shimano XT and an e-bike rated XT chain. Yeti even developed their own 800mm wide e-bike specific carbon handlebar for the bike. For brakes, Yeti spec'd SRAM Code RSCs with a 220mm rotor up front and a 200mm rotor in the rear. A nice added feature of the bike is the SRAM Reverb AXS electronic dropper seat post. No more fiddling around with the cable in order to get the proper seat height. For suspension, they went with the Fox Factory 38 fork with the Kashima coating and Grip 2 damper and an X2 shock. The 160E has a chainstay length of 446mm and a 1239.7mm wheelbase length. The head tube angle is 64.5 degrees and the seat tube angle is 78 degrees. Yeti claims the medium we're testing will fit riders between 5'5" and 5'11", and for some of us on the taller end of that window, we felt a little bit cramped, but it wasn't completely uncomfortable. They're offering 2 different builds of the bike. Both are at the premium end of the e-mountain bike spectrum. The first higher end build is going to be $12,700 and the next level down will be $10,100 with your choice of either a turquoise or rhino color option. So one of the first places we rode this bike at was at Mammoth Mountain Bike Park, and we went straight to the top and tried to find the gnarliest stuff right away, whether it was the loose, pumicey stuff, the kitty litter type loose stuff where you're kind of just barely making it through, or if it was the chunky rock stuff where you got to pick your way through. But it seemed to us that the harder we pushed the bike, the better it started working, especially with the Fox 38 fork, which is a little bit stiffer than like the 36. It kind of wants to be pushed harder. So the harder we rode it, the better the bike started handling. And I think the 2.5 and 2.4 combination tires are just wide enough to give you a good contact patch for braking and slowing down and traction, but at the same time, they're narrow enough to roll really fast and be able to weave in and out of the rougher stuff where you got to pick your way through rocks. So overall, at 50 pounds, it's about 2.5 to 6 pounds lighter than most of the e-bikes we've ridden, which really helps past 20 miles per hour. I mean, going downhill, you can still accelerate and it still feels comfortable and nimble. So honestly, it's one of the best bikes we've tested so far. One of the downfalls, I think, is going to be the charge port cover, which seems like a small issue, but at this price point, it's kind of a pain to push that latch back in, and I think that's going to bother some people. That's not the biggest issue in the world, but it's just one of those small things that we wish maybe Shimano, it's not really a Yeti thing, more of Shimano problem. So look in the future for something a little bit better there. Other than that, we're really liking the bike. It's one of the best ones we've ridden. So if you like the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to pick out our next issues of mountain bike action and electric bike action. All right, see you guys later.